Good morning once again to everybody. Be blessed by the divine. We'll start the lecture series on 5 steps for a blissful life. Today is the third day. We'll start with Muthu sir starting the class. Sir, you need to unmute. Sir, unmute pannu sir.
May the whole world enjoy prosperity, happiness, and peace. May the whole world enjoy prosperity, happiness, and peace. Be blessed by the divine. Good morning to every one of you. We have already discussed about the step 1, which is the physical health. We have covered all that, and we also covered about the second step, which is mind. So I'm just going to quickly recap what we learned so far about the mental wealth, which is the second step. And then we will complete that second step today. And then we are going to learn some practices or learn in the sense the knowledge about the practices which can be used to achieve whatever we learned so far under mental wealth. Then we will start the third step also today. If time permits. Okay, so we have already discussed the taxi passenger driver who is most important, and the driver is most important, and that was the second step, which is the mental wealth. Now, what we have learned, what we learned in the last class, what are the two functions of mind? Mind has two works minimum, and the first one is the thinking, thoughts. Whatever thoughts comes, and not only thoughts comes, I also think. And when I am talking, I am thinking. When you are listening, you are also thinking. So thought is one function of mind. And the second important function of mind is the feelings. I feel pain, pleasure, peace, or bliss, or ecstasy. So there are 4 different types of feelings. Mind is the instrument which feels. So there are 2 functions of mind. This was, we learned it in the last class. And then where is mind? And where it originates, that also we discussed. Where is mind? We have learned that there are 2 functions of mind. One is the thought, the other is the feelings. Now, where is the mind? We have to understand the difference between the 2 functions. First of all, what is mind? If you ask a question, mind is nothing but biomagnetic wave, biomagnetism. The biomagnetism which is circulating throughout the body, when it passes through the brain, it functions as thoughts. So the thinking faculty of mind is because of the brain, but the root is the biomagnetic wave, that is called mind. And the second function of mind is the feelings. For thinking, brain is important, brain is required. For feelings also brain is required, but the feeling takes place when I am talking to you. There is a small ant which is on my little finger of my right toe, right feet. Then also I am able to feel it without seeing it, because the feeling is also a function of biomagnetism, which is throughout the body it is there. Because anywhere in my body I am able to feel pain, pleasure, bliss, or peace. So where is mind? Mind is there everywhere, but brain is the one which takes the input from biomagnetism and converts that. Oh, now there is a small ant on my right toe, on my right feet. So brain is also important. Okay, so where is mind? Is there throughout the body. Okay, but the thinking faculty is here, feeling faculty is throughout the body. Where it originates, I think that was also discussed last class. The biomagnetic wave is because of the Akash particles rotation, spinning movement, or life force particle or life energy particle. When a fan rotates, air comes out. So when Akash particle rotates, there is a wave coming out. That wave is called biomagnetism. If the same Akash particle in the open air rotates, of course it has to rotate. All the time it is spinning. When Akash particle spins in open air here, the wave comes out is called universal magnetism. Since it is within living organism, it is called biomagnetism. So where it originates from the Akash particle, which is also called as life force or life energy or the spirit or the soul. Okay, now what is mind? We have already discussed it. How does mind function? I think Kumaresan sir explained it, how mind functions. When I am seeing a cow, the biomagnetism within my body is getting converted into light waves through the eyes like a camera. When I click a camera, the electromagnetism which is in the battery is converted into light by the camera. So light goes and takes a picture. Similarly, my biomagnetism is getting transformed into light waves through the eyes. That light waves gets reflected from the cow, which gets an image here, from the image in the eye ball, which goes to the brain and it is recorded there. And then from the brain, it goes to the genetic center, which is at the center of the body, which has the complete recording, not only from my birth, from the first sense plant, everything is recorded there. So how does mind function? Whatever we see outside world, not only seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, touching, everything, through the senses, it goes to the brain. From brain, it comes down to the genetic center. And whatever recorded in the genetic center, it comes back as a play when you play the VCR. And that reflection is called thoughts. So, and the same thing is applicable for feelings as well. Whenever biomagnetism is disturbed in my body, throughout the body, my little finger on my right feet gets disturbed. That through the touch sense, when ant is on that, I am able to feel that difference in biomagnetism as an ant, because there is already a recording. So that is how the mind functions. Now 5 senses as input to the mind: eyes, ears, nose, and the tongue for taste, and the skin for touch sense. These are the 5 senses which are the inputs to the mind. Now this is how means we have covered until this in the last class. Now we are going to start from today. Now mind frequencies and why mind is always wandering, and what are the types of mind, and why humanity is suffering, and what are the mistakes we do it, and why we do that mistakes so we suffer, and what to do to prevent such mistakes from now on, from future. That also we will learn. At the end, we will try to understand what are the practices available to learn and practice so that we implement whatever we know about mental wealth. Okay, so we discussed it. Mind has 2 functions, and this is how I explained it. The mind is functioning through the 5 senses, and you can see the picture from cow to eye to the brain, brain to the genetic center, and it is called genetic center. It is written in Tamil, but it is a genetic center. And where it gets recorded in the genetic center, it gets recorded in the eyes, it gets recorded in the brain, it gets recorded in the entire biomagnetism, also in the Akash particle. And those 5 senses gives 5 pleasures, right? Seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, and touch sense. Now, 2 functions, the genetic center, the one which gets recorded, condensing, expanding, recording and playing. Condensing is recording, expanding is playing. And now what is Akash particle? This is, I think, I don't know whether it is discussed, but still you can see that Laddu as Akash particle, and Laddu is made up of Pundis, and Pundis are called primary energy particle or ether or God particle or Paramanu. The Laddu is called Akash. Science calls that as atom. Atom consists of subatomic particle like electron, proton, neutron. Those Pundis are called. The difference in the speed of the Pundis, science named it as electron, proton, neutron. That's all. Everything is Pundi. If the speed is very high, it is called electron. If the speed is dead slow, it is called a neutron. So that is how the scientific community named those Pundis as different subatomic particles. Fundamentally, it is same. Now, how biomagnetism is produced? Because each Pundi is spinning, electron is spinning. And when Pundi is spinning, Laddu is also spinning. And anything spins, that is how the magnetism is generated. As you can see there, it is simply a physics. And you can see north, south, there is a magnetic field created. And this is what now scientific community have done a lot of experiments. We do have a magnetic body around us because we have a causal body, which is Akash particle. When Akash particle spins, there is a magnetism, right? So, yeah. Now we are going to learn today. The mind works in 4 different frequencies. Our mind, human mind. For example, a dog, the mind frequency of dog is certainly not same as this. Otherwise, what the dog thinks and what I think, we get a different problems now, right? So the God is so intelligent, and it is everything is in a different range of frequency, because if Dubai is also broadcasting their songs in the same frequency as Qatar, we have a serious issue in getting any signal, right? So it has to be in different frequency range. So human mind operates from 0 to 40 cycles per second. As you can see there, the 13 to 40, we call that as 14 to 40 actually. It's fine, 13 to 40. It is called the beta. 99% of the people, most of the time, they use their mind in this particular frequency range called beta. This is also called as conscious mind, also called as emotional mind. Whatever emotions we get, agitation, irritation, confusion, anger, intolerance, argument, objection, criticizing it, complaining it, finding fault in it, commanding it, dictating it, all those things are happening in this frequency range between 14 to 40 cycles per second, are called hertz. That is called beta wave. Now the next one is called alpha, which is 7 to 13 cycles per second frequency, and this is a relaxed state of mind wherein the mind is in calm state or peaceful state. Also our sleeping is also in the same frequency. In this, if my mind is operating in this range, I don't get any agitation, any irritation, any tension, stress, nothing. Means no emotions. All is a peaceful, is a clean water flowing in a river, not a turbulent water. Clean water. My mind is peace. You do anything, but I am in peace. That's all. So that is a frequency we should try to keep our frequency in that state. All meditators, their mind frequency is this. Not only during meditation, after meditation also, supposed to be. The next frequency range is theta. It is called 4 to 7. And this is called subconscious mind. And 4 to 13 is called a subconscious mind. As I say, subconscious mind, we will learn it later. So it is not thinking, but below that, So all kind of intuition, problem solving, and insights, and thinking outside the box, all have to come from there. And the delta is very close to mind. Always Maharishi says, if this is a mind, one end of the mind is we are operating, conscious mind. The other end of the mind is divine, God is there. The frequency is 1 to 4. If I can come close to that last state, which is a delta state, 1 to 4 cycles per second, then I am close to the God, close to the divine, and God knows everything. I will also know everything then. And create everything, all secrets are there in that frequency range. So if I can, Maharishi has not studied beyond 3rd standard, but he has written even physics, scientific formulas, or even empowering what Einstein and Newton have said. Such is his power. He is able to get it from the universe, which is the frequency of delta range. That is very, very, very subtle state of our mind. Now, this is what you have to understand now. Mind, how mind works. Maharishi says, if you can control your mind, you can live like a king. Whatever you want, you can achieve it. You can achieve anything and everything, but mind should be in your control. Unfortunately, it is not happening. We all do a lot of mistakes. Why we do mistakes? Mind is behaving like a monkey. Why mind is behaving like a monkey? Because mind is nothing but a biomagnetic wave. As you can see in the previous slide, magnetism means it's a wave. Wave means going up and down. Up and down means it is wandering. It is not in a steady state. If the mind can be in one straight line, I am in samadhi state. No thoughts, nothing, straight line, almost like a dead state, right? So, but we can reduce the mind frequency close to 1 to 4 or 1 or 2 cycles per second. So, mind is like a monkey because it is the nature of biomagnetic wave. Now, in this condition, how can we control our mind? Maharishi says, you can never control your mind. If I ask you not to think about a black monkey for next half an hour, you will think about black monkey quite often and more strongly. So what it says is, whatever we think, thoughts, T represents thoughts. It becomes words. Every word becomes actions. Then I started doing it. Every action has a result. The result can be happiness or pain or pleasure. Whatever I get the result as pain or pleasure, I experience it. I go through it. and that is again recorded, which is called imprints. Once it's imprinted in genetic center, it gets reflected, which is called R. The reflection is nothing but a thought. This is a cycle which has been going on 24 hours. Even when you are sleeping, the subconscious mind works. So whether I like it or not, whether I know it or not, this is happening all the time. So whatever we think, we become. This is what our great scholars had said. Why? And I think Mahatma Gandhi had said, whatever you think, then it becomes your actions, and whatever you do, it becomes habit, and habit becomes character, and character is your personality. All that is built up, right? Fundamental component is thoughts. Every thought is becoming word, action, result, pain or pleasure, again recorded, again reflected, again comes as thoughts. So this cycle is on all the time. So what? This goes on like a chain reaction. So what? Let it go. What is the problem? So can I request those who are present here? What is the problem? So what? Can you write your comment? So what? Let it go as a chain reaction. What is the problem in it for me, for my life, to enjoy a happy life? So can you please give your comments? So what? What is the problem in having this chain reaction happening all the time? Thought becomes words, becomes action, result, happiness and pain, again imprints and again reflected. Let it go. In what way I am affected or I am getting benefit? Can you please give your comments in the chat box? All are listening, I guess. Too pain. Okay. Too pain. Okay. Too much pain. Okay. Great. Any other comments? Bad thoughts will give bad results. Excellent. No clarity. Great. Filter should be at thought level, as bad thought will lead to many problems to self and others. Excellent. Chain is uncontrolled unless broken. Must be broken at getting imprinted. You can never do that. Okay. No, sorry, you can do it. Yeah, you can do it as well. It affects both the physical and mental health of a person. Excellent. Very good. Our thoughts should be good towards helping others. Excellent. Okay. Great. Super. Always restless. GC will not be purified. Okay. Great. Sin or misery. Touch, ND. Touch and press delete. Excellent. Okay. If you can have a button like that, nothing is, great. Positive thoughts have good results, but negative thoughts should be eliminated. Excellent. You all have said it very rightly. So, if I allow any thought to come in me, then what will happen? It keeps on recording in genetic center. The genetic center is the treasure box. It is like a black box in an aircraft. Never it dies. Everything is recorded. And it is also called soul, the spirit. This is the genetic center which goes to my children. Now, my children's life also depends on the quality of imprint in the genetic center. So, there are many things which is happening in this process if I don't take care of that. Any thought, if I allow that to happen again and again, if that thought can bring happiness, perfect. But if the thought can bring pain, then it becomes habit. Then it becomes addicted. Then my kids also will follow. If I get a thought to smoke, one time is fine. But if I get 10 times, it is like a cotton thread. And if I get 1,000 times, it is like a rope. If I get 1 lakh times, big rope. If I get 1 crore times, it is like a metal chain. You can never break the chain. That means my son will smoke for 100% sure. And not only him, his son also will smoke, because my genetic center has very strong imprint to smoke. So any thought, if I allow it, the mind keeps on thinking about it again and again, and it will become part of my personality. And whenever I think, I speak, I do anything, it comes from the genetic center. So this cycle is always happening. Is it good or bad? Definitely excellent. Because I want to construct a home for 1 crore. I can achieve it. What I need to do? Strengthen that thought. The genetic center will manifest and it will dictate the universe to get it, and it will happen. So only 5% of the people are enjoying the life. Those who can control their mind, they are doing it. What control their mind? They allow only good thoughts which can bring happiness. That's all, as simple as that. If somebody can do it, they can achieve what they want in their life. Okay, so and what I wanted to mention is habits. We become habit if the thoughts are happening in as a chain reaction. If it is a good habit, excellent. But if it is a bad habit, after all, 5 years before WhatsApp came, and most of the people are addicted to WhatsApp, and they see the WhatsApp in the washroom as well. So how powerful this chain reaction is. After all, for WhatsApp, people are addicted now, right? So that is the power of this chain reaction. Okay, now why humanity is suffering? We are born because of our past karma. What is the past karma? If I give pain to somebody, it is a sin. Every sin which is recorded in my karma will give me pain or disease. Will give me pain, simply. The pain can come from 2 ways, either as a disease or as a mental disturbance, that what I think it will not happen. Even I need a coffee, coffee will not come. Even if coffee comes, they call that as a coffee, but I will call that as a hot water, and coffee will not be like a coffee. So that is the pain, right? So if I do give pleasure to somebody, it is a good deed, and I will get happiness from the society. So because of past karma, I am born. What mistake I have done? I gave pain to somebody, and that is a negative karma. That is a sin, and that is what I have done. Now, yes, not only in my past, even since my birth also, whatever I have done, that is called a present karma or called prarabdha karma. The past karma which I got it when I was born is called sanchita karma or past karma. Now, why human beings did that mistake? Is it God wrong? Why God has to create like this? Why the first person did this mistake of giving pain to others? Can anyone answer that? Why the first man, when he is evolved, had to do this mistake of giving pain to somebody, so that that mistake is taken as a sin, and from there it got accumulated. Now everybody is doing it. Now, can you write your comment on that? Why the first person did the mistake of giving pain to others? Thus, he earned sin. And we all keep doing it actually. I am on that job, sir. Add only PT, animal life. Great. Habit of animal imprint. So you people are really excellent. So you know everything. Excellent. Animal imprint. 800 millions of animals. Those imprints are within us. So that is why we do that mistake. Now because of the animal prints, we tend to do 2 mistakes. One is ignorance. We don't know that we should not give pain, so we do give pain. Or I know that I should not give a pain, but I give a pain. That is negligence. I know, but still I do it. I know exercise is good, but I don't do it. I know anger is bad, but I still get angry. That is negligence. And emotions is you have no control absolutely, and it is coming like anger, irritation, agitation, impatience, or commanding, dictating, complaining, criticizing. All those things are out of emotions, not with the conscious thinking. You do it unconsciously or subconsciously. You get that emotion. The moment wife says something, you get angry. That is emotional mistake. So we do 3 kinds of mistakes: ignorance, negligence, emotions. That's all. Now we have to address each one if you want to really take care of your mental health or mental wealth. Now, if you wish to control your mind, as I said, you can't control your mind. So how can I control this now? Ignorance is easy because you attend any spiritual organizations, lectures, satsangam, or good books, good things, you will understand. Or at least you think of some good people, you will get the quality of them, like Maharishi, right? So you will know so many things, and but the moment you know it also, people have to follow it, implement it. Negligence comes there, and emotions is another big headache. We are not able to control our emotions. So we have to control. If you want to control your mind, you have to understand your mind. Now the key understanding about our mind, some of you might have already heard it, but still I will just cover it. We do 3 mistakes. We have to understand where the mistakes are coming from. So the one is ignorance. Ignorance comes from the conscious mind, what I think. I need to think deeply to understand whether I do it right or wrong. I need coffee now. If my conscious mind can think, coffee is required or not required, is it good or bad, should I take it or should I not take it, this is the conscious mind. The conscious mind is the one by which I think. I do all logical analysis, logical comparison, and I see the world, seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, touching. Everything is the interaction to the outside world is through the conscious mind, and conscious mind is the one 98% of the people, majority of the time, we use conscious mind. Of course, I have to use conscious mind. If I don't use my conscious mind, if a snake comes, I will not see it. My eyes may see it, but it will not think, it will not recognize the snake, and I will die. So I have to use the conscious mind, absolutely no doubt in that. And the next is a subconscious mind. The ignorance is because of the conscious mind. Negligence and emotions, 3 mistakes. Ignorance because of conscious mind. That is why you hear this lecture, and the moment you hear all those, your conscious mind receives it, think about it, logically deciding whether I should apply it or not apply it. So all this because of conscious mind, ignorance. The negligence and emotion is because of the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind can make the conscious mind suppressed. No, you don't think. I will tell you, don't do the exercise today, do the exercise tomorrow. As you can see in the slide, the conscious mind is the tip of the iceberg, only 10%. The conscious mind simply follow what the subconscious mind tells. This is the problem. Unfortunately, conscious mind is the king, is the boss. Subconscious mind is the beautiful, obedient, wonderful, powerful servant. The subconscious mind is supposed to follow what conscious mind is dictating, commanding, ordering it. It is supposed to execute it. But unfortunately, because of our animal imprints, we follow our subconscious mind 90%, only 10% we think. If a snake comes, I will run away. But I can bite my wife like a snake. I will not know. Why? My subconscious mind has a program of animal imprint, and conscious mind doesn't think how the snake is poisonous. Now, the word I use to my wife, is it also poisonous or not? No, I don't think like that, because subconscious mind gives that word, gives that decision. I blindly follow it. That is the power of subconscious mind. That is the worst part of subconscious mind. So that is why Buddha said, my worst enemy, best friend is my thoughts. And it comes from, if it comes from your conscious mind, excellent. Out of thinking, out of logical analysis. But if it comes from subconscious mind, that is habits. That is from past karma. I have to think twice whether it is right or wrong. If not, I will be in a problem. So the subconscious mind is subconscious, means you will not see it. It is below the sea, below the surface of the sea. You will not see it, but most powerful servant. And that is the one culprit which causes my emotions. All emotions are produced from subconscious mind. I get angry, I get upset, I get irritated, I get worries, fear. Everything comes from subconscious mind according to the program which is there in subconscious mind. As simple as that. If I have a DVD and if the DVD is full of recording of fight scenes, when I play it, only fight scenes will come. If my subconscious has a complete database of wrong, corrupted, violent, all unwanted things, I will get thoughts from that. I will get emotions from that, like that. So the moment I see dosa for lunch, I get upset. Who will eat dosa for lunch? Immediately I react. I'm unhappy for that. Why? Subconscious mind is programmed that dosa is for breakfast or dinner, not for lunch. As simple as that. Unless I change this program, I will keep doing the mistake of negligence or emotional or even thought process. Ignorance also, I may not think properly, right? So that is the power of subconscious mind. Then we don't see it, we don't tell that as unconscious. Maharishi says as a superconscious. Superconscious is the bottom portion of the mind. We have seen it is the 1 to 4 cycles per second, which is close to the divine. Superconscious mind is the recording of everything there from the beginning. How the divine state evolved, all secrets of entire universe is there. Why that person met with an accident and he died? Recording is there. Everything is there. Those who can access the superconscious mind, he is like a God. God knows everything. God can do everything. So he will be able to access it. So that is why great Mahans knows why things are happening around. Before September 11 happened, the previous day night, Maharishi felt something, that something wrong is going to happen. And he uttered a statement with a little angry tone to the people when around him. Means Bhalachandra sir was there, he was a witness. If the humanity doesn't learn on their own, nature will teach them with a great lesson. And the next day it happened. Now they are able to feel when things are planned, going on. Planning is going on to do all nonsense things, right? So everything is recorded. So that's a power of that is a power of superconscious mind. Now, more we go close to superconscious mind, whatever problems I have, whatever challenges I have, all problems, challenges are created by the divine. Divine knows the solution. If I go there, I can access the solution. Even if I make a coffee, that coffee will be the best coffee because the superconscious mind will tell me, no, don't put sugar now, wait. Or make two, 3, 4 rounds of mixing, then only coffee will be nice. Coffee, my God, I never take coffee, but now I started taking coffee little bit. When I went to Kuwait, one of my friend, he's from a Kumbakonam, he's from Chidambaram. He forced me, no, you have to take my coffee. Okay, I said fine, because he took me to his home for snacks, and he spent 20 minutes in the kitchen, and his wife was not there. He made it, and it's a filter coffee. 20 minutes he was, my God, I understood the art of making a coffee. The heat is important, the fire is important, the time is important, and how he mixes it important, the dosage of coffee, the filter, the dosage is important, the quantity is important. My God, I just observed what he was doing it, but the best coffee I had so far. So anything you make, your superconscious mind will guide you what you are supposed to do. And if you can just follow, it is called intuition from inside. So that is the power of superconscious mind. And Maharishi has given beautiful practices. You will learn it now in another 20 minutes. That meditation, if you can practice it, you can access your subconscious mind, totally change the program. Western scholars are conducting courses, neuro-linguistic program. Neuro-linguistic program is nothing but bringing down your mind frequency from 14 to 40 to 4 to 14. They call that as alpha, 8 to 14. In that frequency, you do auto-suggestion, you do repetition, you do visualization, all that will rechange your programming of subconscious mind, right? And in Chennai, they charge around 12,000 rupees for 2 days course to access your subconscious mind. You can access it in 10 minutes of meditation. You can access your subconscious mind. And if you learn advanced stages of meditation like Turiyatitam or Turiyatitam, you can access your superconscious mind as well. Okay. Now, next one. Yes, I already explained. What is the difference between conscious mind and subconscious mind? Conscious mind is a thinking faculty. Subconscious mind is the emotional faculty based on imprint. Conscious mind is the boss. Subconscious mind is a powerful servant, but stupid servant. If conscious mind says that I want to smoke, superconscious mind will bring me a cigarette free of charge one day for sure, as early as possible. Subconscious mind will bring somebody who is there in this building to my home so that this fellow will come with a cigarette and he will offer me a cigarette and I will smoke a cigarette. How it is doing? Subconscious mind has an access to the entire universe through the superconscious mind, and it will, oh yeah, I am in third floor, in the second floor there is a guy who always smokes. Now that universe will tell him, go to the third floor, there is a guy waiting for you, and he will come and he will knock my door. Do you have a matchbox? He will ask me, yeah. Then he may ask me, do you smoke? No, but I think I should. Oh yeah, take one. Simple. Now everything. So it's a powerful servant, but stupid servant. Remember, subconscious mind doesn't know what is good, what is bad. In fact, what is real, what is imaginary, it doesn't know. And that is a power. You can use it for your benefit. That is why Abdul Kalam said, dream what you want to achieve. If you dream, subconscious mind is getting reprogrammed. Okay. So thinking, this will think there is no logic for subconscious mind. 14 to 40 is a frequency of conscious mind, and 4 to 14 is a subconscious frequency. As I said, close to divine, all secrets, truths are there. Solution to your problem is a superconscious mind, right? And frequency is 1 to 3 cycles per second. Now, what we should do to avoid mistakes? Now, you know the answers. You have to understand your mind. Now, I want your answer for these real-time challenges. There are people, the moment you tell about a politician or an actor, hey, don't talk about that fellow, his BP will go. He hate to that extreme. The moment you tell the name of a politician, not even a relative, he never saw that fellow. But such is a hatredness he has inside him. Similarly, we have hatred. We don't like our father-in-law or so many people, right? My boss or whoever. So we hate so many people. What should I do to understand? How can I take care of this particular issue? I hate person A. Until I die, I should not hate anyone. If you can keep this frequency, if you can implement this particular simple concept, you don't hate anyone, things will come to you as you wish. This is not, I'm not saying, Maharishi is saying. Okay. So now I want answer from all of you. Very simple question. I'm just going to the chat box. If I hate someone, and if you understand your mind now, so far, whatever we explained, what you should do to make sure now you have a lovely relationship with that person. You like that person. At least you don't like it, but you don't hate. What should I do after understanding about our mind? Please think and tell me, what should I do? Now, avoid him. You should never do that. Okay. Auto suggestions. What auto suggestions? I will not hate this fellow. You will hate more often if I do this, because, okay, auto suggestion is good. I'm not saying it, but what kind of auto suggestion is important? Tolerance. Excellent. Bless him. Excellent. Great. Bless him. Super. Super. Try to keep positive thoughts when we meet him. Excellent. Avoid situations. Okay, great. Very nice. Avoid situations. Okay, great. Super. Let's go through it. Now, I think whatever you have suggested, including auto suggestion, perfect. Only what auto suggestion, that is more important. If you do an auto suggestion saying that I will not hate this fellow, it is going to cause a problem. Right? Make it positive, opposite of that. All that will help you. Okay, but avoiding him, never ever do that unless it is 100% negative. If that person is 200% negative, avoid him. Otherwise, God has given you in your circle, because my negative karma. God wants to remove my negative karma through this person, and God is so kind and helping me to do this now, so that I don't suffer when I become old. Now I am 36. I have enough strength physically, mentally, spiritually to face any challenges. Let him come, not this person. Bring anybody who wants to pain me. Come, 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 come. No problem. Let me face all that and let me get rid of all my negative karma. Future is going to be excellent, blissful life. But don't invite problem. But whatever nature is creating, face it. That is the first step you have to do. Face it. Okay. Now I don't like bread for lunch. Now my BP it is never in. I am not able to control my sugar level. My hubby is not loving me. And you know there is a small, not a joke. I think it happened actually. One of the lady was telling to her husband. Maybe some of you might have heard it in my introspection classes, particularly vision students. Maybe the lady is telling to her husband, "My dear, you love me, but you bring me jasmine flower once in a week. You know the guy who is working under you, this fellow is getting jasmine flower for his wife every day, and he is getting half of your salary. And you are getting double the salary, but you get me jasmine flower only once in a week, and that too I have to remind you. Whereas that fellow is getting this jasmine every day, and she is telling me how I feel bad. Really, you love me or not? Why you are not getting me the jasmine?" This was her complaint. This fellow also thinking, "Oh my God, every day I have to waste 50 rupees for the jasmine flower. What is this nonsense? Why it is required every day?" This fellow is day by day, this torture is going up. So this boss called his subordinate. "Come on, come. I have a problem because of you, your attitude." "Sir, what happened? Really, do you love your wife too much?" He asked. "Why? Do you buy jasmine flower every day and give the jasmine flower to your wife? That much love you have on your wife, I am not able to digest that." This guy said, "Sir, yes, I buy jasmine flower every day. You know why? Why? I like the lady who is selling the jasmine flower at the end of our street. I like her very much. So I go there, have a chat with her, and buy the jasmine flower. Because I like her, I buy it, I give to my wife." But don't think that that lady is 30-year-old. She is a 70-year-old lady, and her son is not taking care of his mother, so he is trying to help her. So you don't think she's a beautiful lady and he has an attraction. No. This gentleman is a good gentleman. So he wanted to help that elderly lady by buying this. So that's why he is helping it. Now, but that lady is thinking, my husband is not loving because of that. All this because of subconscious mind recording. Now, what should I do to solve all this problem? This here. First, you take conscious mind. That lady has to think, love is not based on jasmine flower. Whether he gets every day, he need not buy any jasmine flower. Love means caring, attention. When there is a problem, when there is a need, whether it is given or not. Okay, jasmine flower is one way of expressing his love towards her, his wife. That's fine. But taking care is important. Love means taking care, right? So the conscious mind has to think, what is real love? What exactly I need? Maybe the person buys jasmine flower every day twice. But when the lady is having a fever, he doesn't go to a doctor and take some medicine. I am going to office. Love is missing here. So love, so he has to think consciously. Ignorance, he has to remove that ignorance. Now negligence, she should remember all the time this. Now emotion, the subconscious mind is programmed in such a way, if that person gives jasmine flower to his wife every day, and I am not getting it, that is a wrong comparison, which is because of subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind also programmed that if your husband is not giving it, you command it, you object it, you show your unhappiness, then only jasmine flower will come. And that is the programming it is done. You have to reprogram your subconscious mind. Fundamentally, that is the culprit, the subconscious mind. So how can I program subconscious mind? We will learn it in another few minutes. Now, before that, awareness, conscious mind. First, where is happiness? Happiness is in bread or jasmine flower, or it is inside me. Happiness is a state of mind. It is a state of biomagnetism. We already learned feeling is biomagnetism. If the biomagnetism is excess, it feels happy. If the biomagnetism is less than the required threshold level, it feels unhappy. If the biomagnetism is not matching with what is recorded in the subconscious mind, it feels unhappy. So either based on the quantity of biomagnetism or based on the recording of subconscious mind, I feel happy or unhappy. So where is happiness? Happiness is inside me, either in the level of magnetism or in the recording. So change the recording, not in outside environment. This is what first I need to understand. Now, what is to be changed to enjoy happiness all the time? There are a couple of points I have suggested here. If you learn meditation, be in Agna immediately. The moment you see bread, the moment you hear the person who is a politician but you don't like it, be in Agna. You will be in awareness state. Now you will start thinking. The subconscious mind, whatever recorded there, no, you will not accept it. You will start thinking because frequency is below 14. Subconscious mind, that fellow is a stupid fellow. No. Why I have to think like that? You programmed like it. I know your programming says like that. No. I will not think like it. You are be in awareness state. Now mind. So what is mind state? The mind, you have to be in the conscious mind, not subconscious mind. You have to think, right? And be in present. Don't think about the past experience. Don't think about the future. And the last one is, the more you meditate, your willpower will increase. You will be able to control your emotions. And you can also do reprogramming of your subconscious mind by auto-suggestion, visualization, blessings. Remove that negative thought with a positive thought. And more you do introspection. Introspection means thinking, analyzing, differentiating what is right, what is wrong, like what we have discussed so far. All those things will reprogram your subconscious mind. If you do it when your mind frequency is below 14, then only. If your frequency is above 14, you do all this auto-suggestion, little effort, little effect. So to be more effective, frequency should be below 14. That is what you have to do it. And to get what I want in my life, what is to be changed? Again, subconscious mind. I want to become a professor, program it. I want to enjoy a blissful relationship with my son, program it. I want my daughter to change from that bad habit to a good habit, program it. Anything you program into your subconscious mind, it will bring it. How? Because subconscious mind is accessing superconscious mind, which is close to the divinity. And that is connected to the universe. Okay. Now, whatever we plant in our subconscious mind, it manifests it. As simple as that. Repetition is important. Emotion is important. Frequency is important. Repetition is like auto-suggestion. Thinking again and again and again. Emotion is you feel happy for it. And emotion is also visualization. And mind frequency. All these things, you program your subconscious mind, it becomes reality. This is not just said by a philosopher. Einstein said, whatever you want to achieve, it will become reality unless you match the frequency of your frequency to the reality. Yes, there is no other way, he says. So the second step we have learned so far, whatever we have discussed so far, all those answers means we have learned answer for all those. If you have not understood anything out of that, please ask a question now before we jump to practices for our mind. How can I reduce my mind frequency from 14 to 1? That is, you need some practices. You need practice to access your subconscious mind. You need practice to access your superconscious mind. That is what now we are going to learn now. You either control your mind or it will control you. So if you don't control your mind, everybody else will control your life, right? So that is said by Napoleon Hill. You have to train your mind to be stronger than your emotion. Emotion comes from subconscious mind. Maharishi has written a beautiful poem. By nature, you will be addicted to your emotion. Your intelligence will behave like a slave to your emotion, but your intellect should overrule your emotion. That is what this says. You know, unless you unplug it, you can't start your work. Things will not be as you wish. Not only for phone, even for your mind. Unplugging your mind is a meditation. Unplug means comes out of all your day-to-day activities. From morning to night, we do so many things. Unplug it, remove it. That is called pratyahara, as per Patanjali Sutras, right? Our meditation does that. Unless you do it, we can never understand our mind, we can never make progress in our life, and we can never achieve good mental health or mental wealth. And not only solving problem, it hidden potential is awakened. You can unleash your hidden potential. The mind power is infinite, right? Patanjali Sutras, right? Our meditation does that. Unless you do it, we can never understand our mind, we can never make progress in our life, and we can never achieve good mental health or mental wealth. And not only solving problem, it hidden potential is awakened. You can unleash your hidden potential. The mind power is infinite, right? So with this I conclude, and now I invite Assistant Professor Anandaraj to explain you about the practices about having full control about your mind. Okay, so with this I conclude.